Absolutely. All right. So, after the trouncing that baby faces do on heels, we can move on to segment 3, which was our special guest segment with the two Today Show ladies and Adam Rose. And I don't even want to talk about this, John. I already said what happened in this segment during our Heat of the Night, so let's just move on. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, we discussed it at length for Heat of the Night. Let's barrel on through.
Screw this segment.
Yes!
We're going to talk about, up next, we had a Bray Wyatt and like a Luke Harper kind of thing for the vignette, and it seems like they're going to push Luke Harper in singles, and then later on Eric Rowan gets one too, and it doesn't make any sense, but it's still cool.
Yeah, I mean, the person, well, I should say persons I'm most intrigued about are Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. That's meant to be
People?
no offense. Yeah, the people that I'm most over to, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. That's no offense to...
And Eric Rowan?
Nah, well, see, I was just about ready to say, it's no offense to Eric Rowan, but I really don't care what happens to him if he's not with the family. Like, I feel like he has something to offer. I remember you once said that maybe he could fill in the role that Kane used to play with his offense and stuff.
I mean, dude, Kane, like, earlier on when Triple H was announcing the tag team match, he was like, Seth Rollins, and the crowd was like, boo, and Kane. That's my really bad impression of crickets, because nobody cares about Kane anymore, because he has about as much credibility as you or I would in a wrestling ring.
Absolutely. I will say this about Eric Rowan, though. I'm intrigued what he can do in singles. Personally, and this is just me, I would give him some kind of, like, claw hold, either like submission or even like slam, like impact type finisher.
Are we talking about Rowan here?
Yeah, we're talking about Rowan, because I've seen him do, like, a claw thing in the past where he, like, just grabs him in a vice, and then he just plants
like that,
him down.
I think that's too old school to work. I think the main reason they had him do that was just to be like, well, we need somebody to give our boys some resting time in these long tag matches. Let's just have Rowan be that guy. But if they're going to give him a singles push, I feel like he should, like, for the most part, not completely, because obviously they still need to have commercial breaks, but for the most part, ditch that, like, slow-paced, like, I'm going to just grab your shoulder or, like, squeeze your head for 5 minutes and hope that you give up kind of offense, and maybe implement some more high-impact stuff. Like, I could see him using, like, a Baldo bomb as a finisher.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
Or something like, even, I mean, I hate to go by the book here, but he's 6'10", why not let him use a chokeslam, you know?
I mean, hell, we did say that maybe he could fill the void for Kane. Let's go all the way with it. Chokeslam sounds pretty...
especially if, like, because Sasha Banks down in NXT's finisher is just a really basic crossface. It's not even the arm trap crossface that Benoit used to. It's just a regular crossface where she's just ripping at people's faces and breaking their backs backwards. But what makes it cool is that she does that following up on a backbreaker. So maybe to kind of stick to that new generation combo mentality, maybe Rowan does like a choke slam followed up by a leg drop to win, or a choke slam and then, like, while the guy's down on the ground, he does some kind of like a leg drop or an elbow drop or a body slam or something to follow up on the choke slam, so that it's not just a choke slam putting people away. You know what I mean?
Or just one suggestion I want to throw in there, since we're throwing out ideas, because I know Rowan's finisher towards the tail end of, I guess, tagging with Harper was kind of like this bear hug slam of sorts. If you wanted to do like a bear hug slam and then like a big splash like off the ropes and get the pin that way, I could accept that.
Yeah, like they could definitely get a little bit more creative with his offense beyond just go out there and look like you're making this guy's head explode or implode in this case.
But yeah, my intrigue primarily, and I'm sure Rowan will do well, but my intrigue primarily is with Harper and especially Bray. And I gotta say, like, it shocks me how well I'm taking the separation of the family, because I'm actually more okay with this than I was with the Shield breaking up. And I think the primary reason for that is, well, now I think Bray can really reestablish his credibility, because if the family isn't going to watch his back anymore and go their own ways, then every win or loss is going to be entirely at his own hands.
You know what's crazy, dude?
What's that?
no more than 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were watching on an episode of Raw the Wyatt family in a match, and you remember what I said? The most interesting thing that the Wyatt family could do right now is break up.
Right.
And now they're not necessarily breaking up, but they're changing it up in a way that kind of almost feels like a breakup, because Bray is basically sending these guys on their separate ways, and I don't know if they're still going to be considered to be a unit, like they're all going to come out together and it's just going to be Rowan one-on-one with some other guy, and then Bray and Harper interfere, and then Harper one-on-one with some other guy, and then Bray and Rowan interfere. Like, I could very easily see the WWE pulling that crap off. But in my opinion, I think that the best is for these three guys to just go their separate ways, have their little singles careers, and just see where it leads. Because, like, Harper is one 15-minute classic away from being Daniel Bryan levels of loved by the IWC.
Yeah.
And Rowan, like I said, he has a lot of Kane in him. He has a lot of that kind of iconic sort of token giant of this generation in him. And then Bray Wyatt, I mean, it's one of those things where he's lost so much credibility because of the family that him being by himself is the best thing to happen for his career, because we all know how amazing he is as a talker in the ring, facial expressions, body language. Literally, he checks off everything that you could possibly ask for from a performer in this profession. And all he really lacks at this point is credibility. And I think that just changing things up a little bit like this helps his credibility immensely.
Nothing terrifies me more, like in the kayfabe sense looking at all this, than knowing that a man like Bray Wyatt is going to be alone with his thoughts. And that's why I'm so excited about this. There is no family keeping each other in check. They are now creating something for themselves. And what's so brilliant about this, Ashton, and I think you pretty much touched on it, so I'll be re-echoing your sentiments here, is that they don't come right out and say that the family has been dissolved. In fact, I like the wording of Bray Wyatt, bringing it all back to the Harper vignette, which spawned this discussion to begin with. He's setting him free. He's setting these guys free. And when you set the birds free, that doesn't mean that they'll never return to the nest for a common cause. You know, I've heard for a while now that WWE is trying to think of ways to bring the Shield back together and kind of turn them into like the New Age DX, you know, where they go and they do their own things, but every once in a while, like, they'll reunite. And, you know, for the Wyatt family, I think you have a much easier out because of how you've handled these vignettes. Because I could easily see, like, even if they wanted to do it a few months down the road, oh, look, the Wyatt family's together, and not think anything of it.
Right.
But these guys now are going to go forward, and I think have very interesting single careers. I could see Harper in a feud, if he's able to hold on to the gold that long, which I don't even really know anymore. I mean, anything can happen in WWE. I could see Harper having a feud with Sheamus for the United States Championship at some point, and then just kind of give him a mid-card title to kind of work with. And Bray, I want Bray Lesnar so bad, but we have a lot of work to do if we were to ever get there, because like you said, he just doesn't have the credibility right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, if I'm being honest and realistic with myself, that match is probably never going to happen, but I can just picture the crowd reactions, and it's a shame that it never will, because I think a lot of people would have a feeding frenzy on that match, and I'm speaking as one. So, you know, but hopefully Bray can get back on track. I'm glad this is happening. Like I said, nothing terrifies me more than knowing that a man like that is going to be alone with his own thoughts, his own motives, and everything else. Let's unleash hell on the world. I'm excited.
All right, up next we had Mark Henry versus Bo Dallas, and I think I was watching football when this match happened, but I do remember moving back and seeing that Mark Henry lost by countout.
Yeah, Mark Henry's emotions getting the better of him. He was clearing a table off because I think he wanted to inflict more damage on Bo Dallas than necessary. Bo was able to slide out the back door, get back in the ring in time, get the count-out victory. So this is the third straight time he's beaten Mark Henry, and just so we can kind of lump it all together, because of this third straight victory, Bo Dallas has earned himself an Intercontinental Championship match against Dolph Ziggler tomorrow night on Main Event. I know that Bo's not going to win the championship, but I think him and Ziggler really have a chance to go out there and have a great match for the title. and maybe that'll get Bo in a really good place. I mean, I've been saying all along that I really felt like Ziggler was on course for feuding with Cesaro, and I still believe that, but could Bo Dallas now find himself in the mix, maybe get a few cracks at that title? I think that would be very nice to see.
Yeah. Mark Henry didn't really get to do anything tonight, unfortunately. Bo won by countout and then escaped before Mark could really do anything. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens with that whole storyline.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely turning heel because, again, he's really getting quick-tempered. He's letting his emotions get the better of him. He cleared off a table to really brutalize Bo. I mean, if that's not old Mark Henry, I don't know what is. But, yeah, again, really didn't get to do much tonight because of the circumstances. Nothing more to say than that.
All right, up next was one of the highlights of the night. Dean Ambrose cuts a promo talking about how he is not exactly comfortable with the idea that John Cena has been in his space so much lately, and he walked out on their match on SmackDown, and John Cena interrupts and calls Ambrose out on a few things, and Ambrose basically says, "Welp, I don't have time for this. So I'm leaving. I'm going to go get some food on Coney Island, and I will see you maybe next week. I don't know. I don't think he really specified that, but yeah, he left."
All I want to say about this is I'm glad that Ambrose stood his ground and put Cena in his place and wasn't going to tolerate his crap. I've been loving how Ambrose has been carrying himself. Still very likable babyface. I think he's the anti-hero of like this whole thing, kind of like this Stone Cold-esque, if you will, I'm getting from Dean Ambrose. This was wonderful. I loved it. Cena can kiss my ass. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. We did have a cute little segment afterwards, though, because after Ambrose walked out, of course, we had to go to a freaking commercial. But then when we came back, we got Triple H kind of meeting up with Cena backstage, and he was talking all sarcastically about how, oh, it's a shame Ambrose doesn't know the opportunity presented in front of him. He has the opportunity to main event a Monday Night Raw, but he just walks out on it. It's okay, John. I'm sure that you and all of your C Nation will band together tonight and come through in the clutch or whatever. I don't know exactly what he said, but like, I just love troll Triple H. He's so good.
He was hilarious. I was laughing at John Cena with him. John Cena tried standing up for himself, saying, "I know what you're trying to do. Nobody gives a crap, John. You suck." Again, no business in this feud with Seth Rollins. Glad Dean Ambrose walked out on you. Good luck in your handicap match tonight.